Say good evening to Tony Mepham, who joins us in the studio now to discuss, preview the games in Manx football this weekend. One place to start. We'll hear more from you in Friday Football Focus. We'll get some guests from Pulrose United in the studio, but one obvious place to start this weekend. It comes in the Canada Life Premier League. The top two meet each other. It's Peel against Corinthians. It's a massive game, Tony.
Well, it's a huge game for both clubs because we're getting to the business end now, and I don't mean end of the season. Just the top teams are coming against each other. We've got Peel and Geordies coming up in about a month's time. We've got Geordies and Corinthians. We've also got Russian coming up with some big fixtures. So it's all good, and let's just see how it all goes. But tomorrow, I know Peel's pitch, they played on it last week and struggling a little bit, so we'll wait and see how that goes. But looking at the team, I think Lee Gale's still away, but you never trust what you hear. You always think that there might be something there, and all clubs do it, so it doesn't really matter. Corinthians, I think, are one or two sort of at the moment on the borderline, just waiting to hear injury rise to see what they're like. But great game of prospect. It's a lovely setting, as in with the stadium and everything, the shed end. It's a tighter pitch than Fletcher. Corinthians have always played well at Peel, and we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But Steve Faulkner will be happy with the way things have gone team-wise, and if Lee's not available, he's got Sean Kelly to come back in, so the goals can come from him. As we're with Corinthians, we know we've got Sean Doyle, we've got Ryan Gartland to pick from, and midfield, it works hard. Defensively, they look pretty strong, and it's going to be on the day. And I know you're going to ask me for a winner. It's really tough, but I'm going to sit on the fence. I have to, and say it's going to finish up as a draw. But you know, last time out, Peel won it 3-2, and they'll be looking for the same sort of scoreline. Stop smiling.
Sorry, I'm smiling. I'm going to have to challenge you on something. Corinthians always play well at Peel, Tony. I did some homework.
Yeah.
For the show. Always put the hard yards in. As far as my records go back, there's 25 meetings. It goes right back to the 10th of November 2007. There's been 25 games between Peel and Corinthians. There's been 3 draws, so it could be a draw.
So they've lost 22.
Peel have won 22.
Yeah.
Do you think Corinthians can end that hoodoo tomorrow?
Well, when you look at Corinthians' league position last year, it was the highest they've finished since 1986. And the reason is that Corinthians have always been, if you like, a Division 2 side, a yo-yo side. They come up, they play okay, and then they go back down again. But I think they've sort of cemented their place in the Premier League now. And when you look at the scores over the last 5 or 6 years, I know last year it was 6-4 at Fletcher. And they were 4-2 up with, I don't know, about 20-25 minutes to go. Ryan Burns got sent off, and then Peel just went absolutely mad and won it. But, you know, this year the game was played at the Bowl. Peel played well. Corinthians got themselves back into it, and they lost 3-2. But when you look at the games at Peel, you know, the 1-1s, there's been 1-0s, and they've tightened up big time over the last 5 or 6 years. And, you know, Corinthians' side doesn't resemble what it has of late. And also, when you look at Peel, it's new young players coming in, looking really promising. And I think Peel, at the moment, are one of those teams that you have to fear, and they could win the championship.
I mean, stats can prove anything. If it's any consolation to Corinthians fans or players out there, you tend to do better at Peel than at home against Peel. In terms of the title race, is whoever wins this in pole position to overthrow St George's, if you like?
Definitely. 100%. I think with St George's, when they dropped those points against Russian, dropped the points against St John's, you thought to yourself, well, suddenly there's a chance for anyone to dip in who's up the top of the table. But St George's now have got players back in. Hopefully the games will run for them. Tomorrow they've got should be a straightforward game against Colby. And I still think, in many people's eyes, that St George's are still the favourites to win the league, and they're my favourites. Sorry Corinthians, sorry Russian, sorry Peel, and even maybe Old Boys if you get involved. That's just the way I look at it.
Many twists and turns still to come. The key players tomorrow, you've mentioned Lee Gale. He scored 16 in 13 league games this season, but there are so many good players on show tomorrow. Sean Doyle and Stephen Whitley, just 2 from Corinthians. They're going to need to perform tomorrow if Corinthians are to do well.
Well, definitely, and Ryan Burns, hopefully he's fit, because he's been a big player this year at the start of the season. Very imposing figure. Dan Simpson's electric on that left-hand side, and if Dan's on fire, then look out. But then you look at Peel, Mark Kelly, who's just recently had his 500th appearance for Peel. You've got Daniel Bell, who's absolutely superb, and then probably the two best centre-backs in the league at the moment, I think, is Dominic McCreevy and also Tom Wood. They've played really well, and it's going to be on the day, whoever plays well. I think Corinthians probably looking at this as a benchmarker for where they are. I still think it's going to be a real big ask for them to win the league, but they're still knocking at the door. They've been top of the league for a long, long time, and also finished second last year, so they are a good team. But I think people sort of forget at times that they're a young team and they're improving all the time.
Let's just remind people of the league table as it stands. Both Corinthians and Peel on 34 points. Both have played 14 matches. The one thing that separates them is Corinthians have scored 5 more goals. And then in third place, St George's played 11, 28 points. Russian played 11, 24 points. So still plenty to play for. But as I say, a massive game tomorrow at Douglas Road between Peel and Corinthians. But there are some doubts. It may not go ahead. Let's not big it up too much, because if the rain does come down, that could cast some doubt over whether the game goes ahead.
Yeah, there's a lot of clubs who have been in touch. I've just read my texts, who sort of just waiting to see what comes tonight. We've already lost one, Douglas Royal against Russian and Comby 1. Corinthians pitch is touch and go. We're going to have a look at it again in the morning. We've got a pitch inspection. I know it sounds ridiculous at 7:15, but just to get everybody up there, just have a little look at it, because the weather that's coming in tonight is not looking too good. Also, one of the cup games, Malou and Pulrose. Malou are struggling. They've had a look to see if they can move the game to Pulrose. Pulrose is struggling, so that's in limbo at the moment. And the one that, and well played to the clubs at the start of the week, Foxtel against Braddon in the FA Cup prelim round. We still got one to play there. That game's going ahead at the Bowl for a 2:30 kick-off. But Governors Athletic will be fine. Union Mills will be touch and go. D&D will be a bit sticky. And I would think Murhausen's will as well. So let's just hope that it doesn't rain tonight like it's forecast, and tomorrow we get some football on, because I think everyone's getting a bit fed up now.
Which ties stand out for you in the GH Call at Woods Cup preliminary round?
Well, I think the Malou v Pulrose and the Moran v Onken are the two big ones. I think the way Moran sort of beat Pulrose recently shows that they're on it. They've got good young players in there. Ashley Higginbottom's been scoring goals for fun, so he'll be a big player for them. For Onken, they've done well in the league. They're up to second now, but they'd love to get involved in the cup, because I think Castletown is still a bit of the standout team in this league. Pulrose will get involved as well. You've got Onken, but then when you dip down below in that as well, there's 7 clubs who have still got a great opportunity to win this championship. But Malou against Pulrose, you wouldn't know where that'll go, and it's just maybe with Pulrose at the moment with the edge, with Mark Priestnell, Stevie Glover playing so well. But we'll find out from the boys later on to see what team they've got out tomorrow afternoon.
The dulcet tones of Tony Mepham there. Don't go away, Tony. We'll have more from you after the 6 o'clock news in Friday Football Focus.